I just want to reinforce here that you don't have to use one or the other, but you do have to use both throughout your essay, throughout your research paper. So you can decide which citation style is best, okay? And I've given you some potential opportunities of when to make a decision, but there is no necessarily wrong way. There might be ways for you that are easier, and that's totally okay for you to decide. But throughout the essay, it is expected that I see a combination of different types of citation styles, whether it's just parenthetical or you use signal phrases, okay? So, and that doesn't mean that if you use Article 1, if you use a parenthetical citation or there is no signal phrase, that doesn't mean you can't use a signal phrase later. You just have to make sure that you provide, just like this one said, like the last slide said, you have to make sure that you provide the credibility and use their first and last name. I know that you're like, hey, I already did, if I'm using Article 1 and I used it parenthetically, why would I have to provide credibility in my signal phrase if I choose to use that later? You haven't provided the credibility in text. So if the first time you use a signal phrase, not the first time you've cited ever, but the first time you use a signal phrase in your citation, you do need to provide credibility. But what that means is that you can decide when is best to use these different citations. And if you use a signal phrase like about Article 1 in your first body paragraph, and then you're going to use Article 1 again in your third body paragraph, if you choose to use a signal phrase, you don't need to provide credibility again because you have already cited it in text. You've already cited it with a signal phrase. But you can also choose to use a parenthetical citation. That's perfectly fine. Again, what I need to see from you is that you are using both kinds of citations throughout your essay, right? So it doesn't matter where you decide, you have to decide what citation you use, whether it's a parenthetical only or a signal phrase. Doesn't matter to me. You just have to have a combination of both throughout the essay. Oh, my baby just wants to say hi.